What's going on, guys? So first of all, I apologize for recording from my phone right now and not doing an elaborate full-length video on this. I just got back from the theater. It's about midnight right now, and I realized I wasn't going to have time to record and edit a full-length review of this movie. Also, this is kind of a really hard movie to talk about without getting into spoilers, and I didn't want to do a full spoiler analysis on this film or anything. I wanted to kind of just give you guys my general overall thoughts. So apologizing for the low quality form of the video, but I also did this strategically because I do have my Evil Dead 2 poster in the background. Love that poster. And Sam Raimi, which directed the Evil Dead trilogy and obviously the Spider-Man trilogy, came back to the superhero world to direct Multiverse of Madness, and this is one of the things I was most excited about. So number one, Doctor Strange is my favorite MCU character. Not my favorite Marvel character, but as far as the movies, the films go, I love Doctor Strange. I love Benedict Cumberbatch playing this character. I think he does it phenomenally. I love delving deep into like the deep lore of magic and the occult and the kind of crazy witchcraft and demonic shit that they can get into. I love that stuff, man. Give me the horror elements in the comic book realm. That's what I'm looking for. That's what this movie gave me. I was so stoked about it. So merging these two things that I love, Doctor Strange in the MCU and Sam Raimi as a director, which I love most all of his films, man. There's one that he did that I think is extremely underrated called A Simple Plan. Came out in the 90s. Check it out. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to tell you anything about it. Just check it out. It's not a horror film. It's like a suspense thriller. But anyways, this movie was freaking great. And I'm not just riding the high, I don't think, of just it's a new movie that came out, so yeah, I enjoyed it. No, I legitimately would put this within my top 10 MCU, probably my top 5, which is crazy to me because I've seen a lot of mixed things happening. I tried to avoid a lot of reviews because I didn't want to get spoilers and stuff, and I've seen a lot of mixed things for this movie online. People saying they're not liking it or that it didn't live up to their expectations, or I don't know what their expectations were, but I thought this movie fucking killed it, man. I thought this was a breath of fresh air when it comes to like anything in the MCU. Like, I'm glad that they allowed, if you're wondering, did they restrain Sam Raimi? Did they not let him direct the way that he directs movies with his quick panning shots and his crazy visuals and his zoom ins and his kind of creepy, just frenetic way of filming horror and just kind of intense scenes that happen very quickly? No, all of that is on here. And yeah, I mean, yes, it is still in the PG-13 realm. Yes, it does still take place in the MCU, but they let him be Sam Raimi while directing this, and that's something I really, really appreciated, him bringing in these horror elements. There are scenes that are just like, I don't really know how to, I don't really remember what the trailers gave away, but I'm not spoiling anything, I don't think, by saying this, but essentially, this is sort of a cat and mouse game throughout this entire film, where Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, who fully embraces the persona of being the Scarlet Witch in this movie, which was fantastic. She is the fucking Terminator in this movie, dude. Scarlet Witch is insane, and I loved every second of it. And I think that they did it in a very, very, grounded way, in the point that you understood where her character was coming from. She was still sympathetic. She was that character that we've known all along if you've been following these movies. I didn't get a chance. I didn't see WandaVision, and that does play into this film, but I still understood everything that was going on even without seeing it. But I think that they do her in a very sympathetic way, in a very understandable way, to see how she would go to such extreme measures as she does in this film to try to get what she wants, basically serving as the antagonist for a majority of the film. And I loved everything they did with her character. Every time she was on screen, like, Elizabeth Olsen just nailed it. She nailed everything. Well, except for me, which I wouldn't refuse, even if she's a little scary in this movie. But, and then we have, delving more deep into the demonic kind of things within the MCU, which we haven't really seen a whole lot of. A lot of it has been like celestial stuff from space. A lot of it is the tech stuff with like Iron Man, and we've even seen things from Thor, which is still kind of from space in the MCU, I don't know. But this one really delves into like demonic things, spirits of the dead, sacred texts and books of dark magic and things like that. So they're bringing in all this sort of occult stuff that I really, really liked and really, really enjoyed throughout the movie. God, there's stuff I want to say, but I don't want to spoil anything. Maybe I'll do like a little spoiler section at the end of this video. But yeah, so for me, I thought this movie was like such a fun ride throughout the entire thing, and it like it leaves you like sort of on the edge of your seat with all of this crazy stuff that keeps happening, and it like continues to double down, triple down as it goes through it, but it also doesn't lose sight of why the characters are doing the things that they're doing. I mean, Doctor Strange, it does delve into, you know, his personal relationships as well, and that's something Sam Raimi was really good at in the Spider-Man movies, you know, really kind of capturing, sorry about the trains in the background, capturing and sort of grounding, you know, Peter Parker in those movies. He did the same thing with Doctor Strange and with Wanda in this movie. Wong has a lot of time to shine as well. He does a lot of great things in the movie. The cameos are legit. I think that the thing that might be happening here is that people might be disappointed by this movie because they were expecting it to be nothing but a cameo fest. And that's not what this movie is. Yes, there is fan service in here, and yes, there are some pretty dope cameos, but it's not like every 5 minutes he's jumping to another universe and there's a new cameo of a different character. And I think that people might have been expecting that, and instead it plays really hardcore into the horror elements, like I said, the magic, the occult, and like the reason why these characters are kind of, you know, reaching down to their lowest depths. And that's what this movie was. So for me, I really, really enjoyed it. I would definitely recommend checking out. I think that if you're an MCU fan in general, it's a movie you got to check out. If you love Doctor Strange, it's an absolute necessity. And if you're curious about Sam Raimi returning to directing films and going back into the superhero world, I think you will be pleasantly surprised with how well it turned out. So that's my kind of overall review. Just real quick, I'm going to go into spoilers for the rest of this video. So this is your warning, talking about spoilers here. All right. Scarlet Witch is so fucking badass in this movie. Holy shit, dude. Elizabeth Olsen was amazing. Like, she plays such a gamut of emotion throughout the entire film. Like, not only is she playing our version of Scarlet Witch, which is like so broken to the point where she's willing to just go into whatever universe that she can and just assimilate there, destroy her alternate self, and so that she can be with her children, is crazy. But then we also see that like vulnerable side of her too, of like she is so desperate to have this because she feels like she's lost everything, that she doesn't care how many people she has to murder to get there. And in the scene, you know, when they go into the alternate universe and there's the Illuminati, right? So this is where we get the crazy cameo. So we get a cameo from you know, Peggy as like the other Captain America. There's a different Captain Marvel, but then the big ones are Reed Richards. We actually get to see Mr. Fantastic, which, yes, is played by John Krasinski, which has been the dude that they've fan casted for years. Really cool to see. Also, Professor motherfucking Patrick Stewart, Professor Xavier. And when he comes on screen, they legitimately play the 90s animated X-Men intro, which kind of doesn't make sense because that was not his intro. You know, it would have been whatever, because it would have made more sense if they played the X-Men theme from the movies. But I didn't care. It was a fan service moment, so I was into it. Contact just started jumping all over the place. So that was really cool to see, and I never would have expected Patrick Stewart's, you know, Charles Xavier in an MCU movie. So that was amazing to see. And then his sequence, his death sequence, all of their death sequence. That was, dude, I fucking love that they allowed this to happen in the movie. So fucking Wanda shows up. Wanda dreamscapes and possesses the body of herself in another universe, storms this fortress, and they're all like, yeah, whatever, we can handle your little witch. Goes down there. First, there's this dude, Black Bolt, that if he speaks, he can, like, kill you instantly. And so they're like, we're just going to have Black Bolt kill you. He's just going to say a word and destroy you. And she's going to be like, how's he going to speak without a mouth? And they're like, what the fuck? And then he, like, literally doesn't have a mouth. And he tries to speak, but the voice has nowhere to go. So it blows out of the back of his fucking head. And they're like, what the fuck? And it, like, literally shows this. Like, so good. So good. And then Reed Richards is like, okay. And then she just turns him into string cheese. She chops Peggy in half with her own shield. She is the fucking Terminator, dude. And she's got like the blood going down the side of her face, giving off Carrie vibes and everything. It was insane, man. I love seeing the chaos of it. I love seeing how hardcore they went with it. I love adding the horror elements. The fact that the final battle of this movie, Doctor Strange possesses a dead corpse version of himself to fight against Wanda was awesome. I loved how they went that far with it. They went that far into the demonic shit. They went that far into, you could even say like Marvel zombies, you know what I mean? And that scene, I wasn't expecting it either, because early in the movie, you know, this version of Doctor Strange winds up in that universe and it's dead, and he buries the body in like the first 20 minutes of the movie. You totally forget about it. And then he's in a different universe, and he's like, I need to possess my body in that universe. She's like, wait, don't you have to have a living vessel there? And he's like, nobody said it had to be living. He literally, the final scene of this, the final battle of this movie, Doctor Strange is a zombie. What? Amazing. Loved it. Also, we get a nice Bruce Campbell cameo, Evil Dead, punched himself in the face, little throwback to that too. So I love this movie. I don't know what people are talking about that they didn't like it. I think as far as MCU goes, it's in the top threshold. I think as far as the most recent MCU movies come out, like I loved No Way Home, but that was a lot of like a nostalgia fest was the reason why. This movie, I legitimately loved the story, the characters, everything that was happening within the film itself. It wasn't just about who shows up for a cameo and the guest stars. It was about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So that's my review for you guys. Again, sorry for the low quality of this video, but hopefully you'll forgive me for that. Also have another big video coming today that hopefully you guys will enjoy. Other than that, guys, let me know what you think of the movie. If you saw it, down below in the comments. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What were your reasons why? Did you enjoy it? And tell me what you thought about it. But try to keep it spoiler-free for the people that only want to watch that portion of the video. I would appreciate that. Other than that, guys, give it a like, thumbs up. Thank you all for watching. Really appreciate it. I'll talk to you guys next time.